He's right here. Yeah, that's fun. I'm not. Okay. We are on to C, which is the Albuquerque School of Excellence. So thanks for coming, and thanks for bearing with our fluctuating schedule. We appreciate it this morning. We had something that we had to put on and it took a little bit. So thank you so much for this. So for the beginning, if you just introduce yourself, spell your last name, state your title, and then you don't have to do it the rest of the meeting.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Mustafa Ayık. I'm the Executive Director for Albuquerque School of Excellence. So last name is Ayik, Ayık.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Fry. I am the Governing Council President for the Albuquerque School of Excellence. Last name F-R-Y.
We are on to departments.
Microphone, please.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Gibson and Commissioners. My name is Cheryl Rowe, R-O-W-E, Authorizing Practices Administrator for the Charter Schools Division. I'm here to provide the PED evaluation for Albuquerque School of Excellence. CSD conducted our renewal visit to Albuquerque School of Excellence on September 25th, 2024. CSD team members who visited in person were Director Karina Chavez, Deputy Director Dr. Bridget Russell, Kristen LaVolpa, and myself as the lead. Remote CSD attendees were Martika Davis, Ken Norris, and Missy Brown. Albuquerque School of Excellence opened their doors in 2010 with the Public Education Commission as their authorizer. This is their third renewal application with the PEC. The mission of Albuquerque School of Excellence is to provide a safe and collaborative environment which will cultivate the academic and social development of its students by emphasizing math, science, and technology for the purpose of students setting and meeting higher education goals. The Charter Schools Division recommends that Albuquerque School of Excellence be renewed for a term of 5 years without conditions. The recommendation is based on the record of the school's performance over the course of the contract term. The renewal application, which highlights adult actions and programs in the service of student progress, and verification of those programs and adult actions during our renewal site visit and annual visit. In terms of academic performance, Albuquerque School of Excellence has been a spotlight school each year that designations have been provided in NM Vistas. And in 2022-23, they earned additional distinctions of excellence in math and English learning progress. Distinctions of excellence have not been published for 2023-24 at this time. Their NWEA interim assessments revealed impressive growth, and proficiency rates in reading, math, and science are substantially higher compared to those at the district and state levels. The PED has published the spring 2024 assessment results, and the school's Vistas designation is, once again, Spotlight. Proficiencies have gone up in math, reading, and science, especially in reading and science. While they are known for strong STEM programs, the school's leadership shared that they prioritize reading growth in order to help students excel in all subject areas. The school has also exceeded their mission-specific goals every year of the term. On the financial performance framework, the school received a rating of does not meet the standard for indicator 2B accounting principles for all 4 years of the contract term due to having at least one significant deficiency or material weakness finding in each fiscal year. There was never more than one of these more serious findings in any single year, however, and never more than 2 findings total for any single year. The head administrator and governing council finance committee chair shared that they have put processes in place to avoid such findings in the future, such as clear checks and balances and tests of internal controls. The governing board has met nearly all requirements for the duration of the charter term, as evidenced by a strong record of performance framework ratings, with only 2 working to meet ratings overall over the contract term. The board has met all training requirements, with the exception of 1 board member the first year of the charter term who ultimately resigned. Notifications have been timely all years, with a misstep last school year, 2023-24. For their Part B ratings on the application, they met the standards on student outcomes, mission-specific goals, educational program, and equity and identity. They demonstrated substantial progress in financial compliance, governance responsibilities, and other performance framework indicators. There were no areas where the school was failing to demonstrate progress. Throughout the charter term, our Albuquerque School of Excellence has lived up to its name in terms of student outcomes. The school responded to learning gaps identified post-COVID by providing additional lab time in math and reading, and they consistently use data to inform instruction. The school frequently provides relevant professional development for teachers and staff in order to maintain high standards. The school's educational program goes beyond their academic STEM focus, as they aim to serve students' needs holistically through their character education program, civic clubs, teacher-student mentorship, family activities, and a carefully outlined MLSS support system. The school attracts a very diverse student and staff population that represent minority groups not found in many New Mexico schools. 17 different home languages are spoken. Because the staff reflects the diversity of the students shared in the focus groups that they feel safe, welcome, and heard, and have adults on staff who they feel comfortable talking to. The school implements authentic, culturally and linguistically responsive teaching and learning, and they have an active equity council. An exceptional feature of this school is that the teachers do home visits, which has been hugely appreciated by families and has taken relationship building to a whole other level. When I first looked at their scores and name and had not visited the school yet, I wondered and worried if the Albuquerque School of Excellence was a pressure cooker. However, we have not found that to be the case at all. CSD has observed lively classes with happy, engaged children and abundant support.
Do we have anyone for tribal consultation?
I do not see anybody in the audience for
Okay.
tribal consultation.
All right, thank you. So then we are on to 3, which is the school's opportunity to present.
Right, so it will be reflected, correct, okay. All right, so I would like to start by, again, thanking commissioners for giving us confidence and giving us chance to serve for this past 5 years. It was my actually first year when I came in 2019-20. Was quite nervous and didn't have much experience speaking in front of such people and groups. And so I'm very grateful for all your supports, and I have met with some of you already, and some of you have already visited our school. And so I'm very grateful for the trust that you have given us, and I'm glad that we are not putting you down and your confidence and your trust throughout all these 5 years. And so I would like to go ahead and share some data with you and walk you through where our school stands. And last time, I think we had about 600 students, and I would like to tell you that we have now are serving about 1,005 students as of our 48-day submission. We are a K-12 STEM and college prep school. As you can see the breakdown, we have about 460 students in our K-5, 340 students in our 6-8, and then 205 students in 9-12. So this is being a K-12 really provides some benefits for our families because it's a one-stop location for our families. And so like as the students are growing, they are be able to have chance to be able to continue receiving education at our school. So we're very grateful with our school model and grateful that we are providing that convenience for our families. So when we look at our student population, we have about 15% students with receiving special education services with IEP. We have about 20% of ESL students and 6% gifted students with 60% economically disadvantaged. What I mean by economically disadvantaged is free reduced rates at our school based on our numbers this year. And this has been increased from 52 to 60% this year. So I really want our commissioners to take a look at the demographics and before I share with our data with you, because we truly believe that our demographics are really a good reflection of our state averages. In some areas, maybe a little higher, some areas maybe a little lower than our state averages. So moving into next one. That highlights pretty much all of our accomplishments since the last renewal. Our school had a good academic rating when we had the A school rating in like 2013, 15, 17, and 18. And since I been as a head administrator, we continue to keep up the same tradition. And from 2019 to up to now, our school has continued to receive spotlight designation. And please keep in mind, this is happening increased enrollment, despite the increased enrollment and despite growth in our minority rates. And we've been recognized in federal level for the past 2 years. Our school was named as National Blue Ribbon School, being one of the 3 schools in the state in 2022. And last school year, we got National Distinction School, ESA National Distinction School, and we were one of the 2 schools in the state. And again, National Blue Ribbon School was given for closing achievement gap, and ESA distinction was due to our extreme growth in ESL students' academic performances. So moving on to next slide, I would like to show you our state test results in a little bit in detail. And I would like to take your attention to, again, looking from 21-22, if you could go to 21-22. This is actually comparing our scores with the state averages. And if you scroll down, we don't want to go through like each and every one of them, but I just wanted to highlight back in 21-22, our school was performing 61% better than the state average. And so now let's go to 22-23. That 61% has increased to 65%. Again, and when you look at our SAT, math, and reading, again, you can see in every single area, our school was performing better than the state averages. And when it is for the last school year, 23-24, and that difference between us and the state averages increased to 70%. So it's a constant effort with all of our administration and teachers and staff that we are trying to set that growth goal for our teachers and students, and we definitely see the results. And we'll definitely talk about more on our programs that we have in place that really leading us to this success. But yeah, I would like to move on to, those are all brief summaries about our academic success and what we are doing for the past 5 years. We do have a plan to, and let's go ahead and double check NWA results as well. So we have set goals for ourselves because we definitely don't want to set our expectation to state averages. So we definitely would like to help our community as well as our families and students to be able to compete with their peers in nationwide. So our goal is actually to be able to get into 50 percentile in nation. And so if you look at, those are breakdown for elementary, middle, and high school, but the very last column will give us this summary. And as you can see over there, can we scroll down a little more? There you go. So that very last portion from 15 to 17 provides the summary for our entire school. And that very first column, the indicator where our students are compared to their peers in nation. So when you look at that in math, for example, our students are performing 65% better than their peers in nationwide. and they are performing 57% better than their peers in reading and 64% better than their peers in science. So that's also another indicator that we go through every single year to look at where our students are compared to their peers in nationwide. Unfortunately, our state is in K-12 education at the last place. However, that's not an excuse for us, but we do have a goal to be able to provide education for our students that they can compete with their peers in nation. And so this data justifies, and not only the proficiency or comparison, but if you look at column E, for example, that shows the individual student growth. That means like percent of students who met their projected goal from fall to spring. And then the last column, F, is actually showing overall growth. That means like from entire year, from fall to spring, it's showing the average growth for every single students, and they are all exceeding 100%. So we are very grateful our teachers' efforts and our students' commitment on their studies, and we are very positive and helpful for our school's future. So with that being said, we'd like to also address with Commission about our plans for future, because we feel like our school will be able to justify, and if we can continue that presentation, actually, there are a couple more slides that I would like to.
Yes, if you can just, so first of all, I forgot to set the timer, so we're just gonna go
Sure.
with however long you have to go. And I accidentally closed that window, so I just need one more second here to find it again.
And 250. Okay.
I apologize, my brain has just stopped functioning. I will find my email, there it is. Come on. You just shared it with me. Where is it now?
Missy, he started at 2:43.
Thank you.
I could share it again.
I think you might have to, because you messaged Lucy that that you'd sent it to me, and
Yeah.
it's not there.
It should be your
There.
sent. Ready. So
I just reshare with you.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
so-
Apologize to everyone for the delay, and I did stop the timer, so.
All right. So given the strong academic background of the school and community interest, family demands, we would like to grow and expand our capacity for our families and community. And so those are some of the bullet points on why do we want to grow. And so again, we do have a strong results in academic wise. Do you have consistent demands? Last year, our school received 102,067 applications for just only 280 students. And so we will not be able to accept any of the rest of the students. Convenience, we currently have about 107 families actually bringing their kids to our school with a commit like every day 30 minutes drive each way. And those families are all living in the west side, and they have to drive every day like about an hour to get to our school. So giving them that convenience, and plus about 1,200 application. We do not have the count of it, but we trust that about 10 to 20% of those who are on our waiting list also coming from the west side. And also, we would like to drive to improve. And as our track record shows that we expanded our elementary, we built a new facility in our existing location and added additional 400 students, and yet this course has continued to increase. It's because, and also it really helped our functionality in school. I know many of our charter school directors are facing challenges with administration and all those. But in our case, when we grow, it actually reflected as a better customer service to our own staff and our families as well. But also it resulted in a better academic standing. So I would like to show in the next slide what our current organizational charts are. So in every single building we do have a principal. And I know I was watching the previous school thing, and I understand when the schools are very small, don't have many administration, and do get a lot of question on how do you be able to hire so much administration, and I do get that a lot. And yet I think you have access to our financial reports and everything. We do have a very strong financial and cash on hand, and we have very strong financial indicators at our school. So it's possible when you grow, actually it really helps your functioning. And now we are be able to, like we do have a little central office that takes over all federal programs, that takes over HR, takes over ESL, special education, gifted, IT. And so those are all taken away from our administration, who's supposed to be an instructional leader. And so they are focused and concentrated on providing, um, overseeing the education that takes place day-to-day basis in their building. So with that being said, our format and our structure is readily available, and that if we are to open a new building, it will just carry out the same structure. So we will have principals. Under the principals, we will have an assistant principal that oversees academics. We will have dean of students and culture that oversees discipline and culture at the school. And then we will follow, and we will have counselors, teachers, secretaries. And so it's an easy replicable model that will help us out. So we are definitely confident about once we are to open a new school, we know exactly what we need to do. And we have proven that with our actually additional opening by elementary in 2019, we will be able to show and demonstrate with our data that this system works and it's really effective. So the next slide. By 2019, our goal is to be able to serve 2,200 students from kindergarten to 12th grade. And this is part of our strategic planning. Last year, our school has done work with Bellwether to complete a strategic planning. And this is part of that study that we believe our goal is to open a K-8 first and then expand to K-12 in another location. And I believe you will be voting for that on Friday. And so our goal is to again continue focusing on rigorous STEM education and providing well-balanced and structured learning environment. And we would like our end result is that we want our alumni students to be a character-driven leaders that have problem skills and resilience that needed for the STEM measures. We do also have key success indicator as outlined there. So it's not like we are just going to open a school immediately. We are meeting the requirement that we set for ourselves for as a key success metrics. And that because of those end results, we are inclined to expand our capacity. So we can go to next one. So those are our strategic priorities based on our strategic plan. We would like to strengthen family engagement, deepen character education, and improve academic outcomes and expand our enrollment. So we do have some initiatives that are active actually this year, and I want us to briefly talk about that before our time is up. We do have this year homeroom teacher initiative. And again, once we done our strategic planning, we said like we have to take an action in order to be able to meet those priorities. So we come up with an homeroom teacher initiative. What that actually entitled is that it's a very unique program. So every school pretty much have a dear time, like 30 minutes within their schedule. So during this 30 minutes time, while all the students are reading book, what our teachers are doing is that they do meet with the students one-on-one and checking their grade books, checking their behavioral points, and providing the mentorship and guidance that those students needs. And many of our students, like not everyone is lucky to have an involved family and parents to be able to check with them every day, right? I mean, when they go home, not many parents are checking whether they have a failing class, whether they are not passing, whether they did not return any assignments or homework. So this is what's helping our school is that those teachers are being actively guiding those students. Like when they have a failing grades, they are asking what they can do to help them. Sometimes they are going and setting up a conferences with other teachers to be able to make sure that those students are passing their classes. And that really helps us out. And that really helps to improve the learning outcome at our school. Not only limited with that, as a homeroom teacher, they do a lot of home visits. As of right now, we have about 35% of our students have been received home visit for this year. And this is about 250 of them has been visited. So, and then they also do family engagement activities. They do college nights, sometimes they do picnics. So, and then they also do activities with their homeroom students. So this is like a whole package as homeroom teacher initiative that they are providing to target our priorities. So it's a really good solution to be able to address all those strategic priorities, and it's so far it's working out. And I would love to share with you a lot of more data, hopefully once we complete our very first year. And now I would like to ask our elementary principal, Ms. Kuczynski, to talk a little bit about the MLSS program. And Missy, would you mind just clicking on that link just so that we can go over and commissioners have access to. We do have a strong MLSS program at our school. This is our guidebook. We also have that triangle. I would like you to show our commissioners, and I want Ms. Kuczynski to provide feedback on that, because that really highlights all the curriculum materials and programs that we do provide. And yes. So I think you can sit over here.
Hi, and thank you for having us here. My name is Vicky Kuczynski. That is spelled Kwiecinski. They call me Miss K for a reason. So the 2019-2020 school year is when the state started transferring over from RTI, Response to Intervention, to MLSS, a multi-layered system of support, and we latched on to it right away. That was the year Mr. Ike joined our school. We incorporated lab time the following school year into our schedule every day for math and reading. And then working a lot with the PED, we go to monthly meetings for MLSS. We do a lot of professional development for it. And we have been working with our teachers to get this implemented. And it was even spoken about in the opening statements about our school. So we have built-in time for lab for math and reading. We also have MLSS time built into the school, and we have always offered after-school tutoring. So COVID hit, and we were ready, and we've been the gaps, are there. We have a lot of emotional behavior things that we're dealing with. It's all part of MLSS. We developed this little chart for our teachers last year. It shows all of the layers, what they mean, and what we have to hit those layers to help our students. And it's been very successful, and we're continuing to tweak the system. Our PLCs are really working really well, and when we attend the meetings with the PED, a lot of the schools are so far behind on this, they don't even know where to start. And so when PLCs are a huge part of MLSS, where the teachers sit there and talk in meetings about the data, and it's grade level and department. They cross curricular everything to make sure that when they have that time built into the school day, they're hitting what the kids need. And it also works for our high flyers too, because we do, keep in mind accelerated learning throughout the day. And we want to make sure that our kids that are high level are getting challenged as well. So this hits everything. So it's not only just online programs that they're doing, it is one-on-one work with the students. And we feel like it's been successful, and we're going to continue to keep tweaking it every year. We work together as a team on our annual self-assessment so that we can see where we improved, because that's important too, what's worked, and then what do we need to do for next year. So thank you.
And so that's the second initiative we have. And finally, our school really looking into, like with the COVID hitting our school with social emotional learning, as well as building students' instinct motivation on like doing the right things. So we do have a goal to become the very first character school in the state of New Mexico, and we have made our application. We are working to have the character school org principal. So I would like to go ahead and invite our counselor, Ms. Osborne, to actually give you a little bit information on that. We can click on the link as well. Right. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you. Hey, hi, I'm Amy Osborne, and as he said, I'm the counselor, and it's Osborne, Osborne. And this is the beginning of my 4th year here with ASE. And since I've been here, we've been implementing the character initiative. So I've been over the character initiative. And as well, I've also been over implementing the SEL initiative through our school. And since we started, we now have 30 minutes at least, at a minimum of 30 minutes of SEL every student gets every week. And we use the Character Strong program. So every student gets 30 minutes at least at the minimum. In the elementary level, students get more than that. They probably get an hour of SEL every week. And then they also get house meetings, leadership, another 40 minutes a week, and that is on Fridays. And our students are going to talk a little more about that, so you'll get to hear more about that. But the character program, and that's what this is, the character initiative, it talks about the 11 principles for schools, and it's addressing the culture of character within a school. So we're embedding culture in everything that we do to improve the behavior, to improve the treatment of each other, to improve the amount of respect that kids give and receive, and that teachers give and receive, and that everybody gives and receives. And what we've noted is that everyone is acting better, everyone is feeling better, they're feeling safer, they're feeling more respected, and just all around better. The culture is so much better than when I started. And that was the goal. And like he said, we are applied to become the first character school of nationally in the state of New Mexico. So we'll see. We applied on Friday, we finished, and it was a big undertaking. So we're really hopeful that we get that. And so these are the 11 principles if anyone is interested to look into what that means. But basically, it's embedding culture in everything that we do. And we have 4 core values, and the students are going to talk about that. And we ask the kids whenever they do something, we're like, are you showing, what kind of character trait are you showing by what you just did, by your behavior, by how you treated? And we turn that around in our behavior as well. Like, if a teacher does something and we do circles, restorative justice, restorative circles, like, was that behavior that the teacher said to you? It's okay for them to turn it around on us as well. So we've really turned the culture of our school around, and it's really been for the better, because I see the data and I like to think that it's also the culture of SEL and character that has kept our data rising. So that's my spiel. So for character. So thank you for your time.
So again, as you can see, from all those initiatives are taking place at our school has a tremendous contribution to our students' success as well as their social emotional behavior and development. With that being said, we are hoping that, as I mentioned, that we can increase our impact and meet the demand that we do have currently. And the school also has a lot of financial opportunities right now because there are a lot of grants available. We are currently working with Charter School Growth Fund. We are applying for CSB grants. We are also we have also received grants from Excellence School New Mexico. So there are lots of financial benefits right now, and there's a lot of requests for us to be able to expand our capacity. And so hoping a favorable, hopefully response for our request. Yeah. So that's all from me for today. I think our students and parents will also have a couple things to say, but that's what they're hearing.
Okay.
We have 7 people total, 1 online. So we will start with Karen Masden. Please remember to spell your last name and try to keep it to 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Karen Madsen, M-A-D.
Karen, can you talk a little bit louder? We can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry. My name is Karen Madsen. That's M-A-D-S-E-N. Can you hear me now?
Okay, you're still quite quiet. We heard you spell your name, but go ahead.
All right. I will try to increase my volume on my computer as well as.
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to speak up because we're having a lot of difficulty hearing you.
All right. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So I am the HR manager at ASE, and I'm one of the folks holding down the fort while everybody is up in Santa Fe. But I did want to say that I've worked for the school. This is my 7th year. Started as a social studies teacher, then dean of students, and now HR. And I also, before I came to Albuquerque School of Excellence, I worked in APS as a teacher. But before that, I was in the military, and I really, I am so proud of our school in comparison to the other schools that I have worked at, but also, that my children went to school in Albuquerque, and I am just so proud of the way that our leadership team has grown this school. I'm very proud of the folks in that room, of my students that I've had here. And I just recommend it to all of my friends, anyone I know who is looking for a school that sees their student and sees their needs and wants their student to reach their maximum potential. So I'm just very proud to be part of the Albuquerque School of Excellence, and I'm happy to be able to have an opportunity to say that to this wonderful group. Thank you.
Hey, moving to the room, we will start with Shannon Bayer, and you can come over here.
I'll need that. Okay. Hello, I'm Shannon Bayer, B-E-Y-E-R. I am a teacher at the Albuquerque School of Excellence, and I am really excited to come and talk to you for just a couple of minutes about what it's like to be a teacher at ASE. One of the things that is pretty extraordinary about ASE that makes it unique from other schools is the incredible diversity that we have of both our faculty and our students. And you heard earlier that we have students that speak 17 different languages, but what you may not have noticed from Mr. Ayek's presentation is that our demographics are also very different. So when you look at them on the surface, we have the same number of percentage-wise of special education students or students of, diversity, that sort of thing. But when you look under the hood a little bit, you'll notice that actually our diversity looks very different. So one of the things that's pretty extraordinary about ASE is that, for example, in contrast to the rest of the state, almost 10% of our student population is African American. Another 15% is from the Middle East. We have students from every continent except Antarctica, right, around the world. And similarly, we have faculty from nearly every single continent around the world, which makes us internationally diverse in a way that is not representative of Albuquerque as a whole. And that means a lot in terms of how that impacts our school culture. So our teachers aren't working with one or two different aspects of cultural diversity. We're working with cultural diversity from around the world. And with 17 different languages, it means that ELL is not a dual language school. It means that all of our teachers are working with multiple different languages and multiple different cultural needs. And although that has its challenges, it also means that we intrinsically have to form a family in a way that's very different from other schools. And so all of our faculty work together and integrate the cultural needs of both the students and the faculty. And some of the ways that we do that are pretty fun. And it makes a big difference. So for example, we have faculty that bring in their culture into our classrooms, but also just share with each other. We have staff days where people bring in goods from different parts of, from different parts of their cultures. We have days where we all just got together as a faculty for tea at one of our people's houses. We come together as a family. Our children share childcare at professional development. There's a lot of things that make ASE a family, which in turn motivates teachers to perform for the school. And this is really important. And this is something that our administration does for us. I think most charter school teachers will always say, we love the academic freedom that we have, which is also true at ASE, but it's more than that. Our administration actually looks out for us as a family. And that makes a really big difference. I would also say that our faculty embraces that sense of culture by also asking us to do things that are non-traditional, like our home visits, which I want to bring to your attention for a moment. As a teacher, when I first started at ASE, I thought, whoa, I'm not sure I want to go visit somebody's home. That seems a little intrusive, and I'm kind of uncomfortable with that. And then I did them. And it turns out that I now have a lot more information than I had about my students before the school year even started. So before the year started, I learned that many of my families do not have a single English-speaking parent at home, which I never would have known because their children do speak English. But if I want to make communication with the family, I need to communicate in a different way. And I know that because of my home visits. I also know what my students' home culture is like, which means I can bring that into the classroom. And I had a chance to get to know them, and I know their name and their family before they ever walk in my door. And so those are things that academically build a culture among the faculty and the students that I think is very different from other schools. And the last thing I would talk about is the level of support that we as teachers have from our administration. So most charter schools have academic freedom in terms of our curriculum and what we teach and how we teach it. But we have more than that. We have the encouragement to start new things, to take the lead in initiatives. As a brand new teacher a couple of years ago at ASE, I've been teaching for a long time, but I've only been at ASE 2 years. I came in the door with all kinds of big plans. Nobody has ever said no to me. And so I had a chance to start the National History Day project. I had the chance to begin a speech and debate team. I had a chance to completely integrate my curriculum with another faculty member and see what happened. And all of these initiatives increased the culture of my classroom, but also allowed me to make academic difference to my students in a different way. And these are all things that make ASE an extremely unique learning environment, both for our kids and for our faculty. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Pearl, and I'll let Pearl tell you what her last name is.
Hi, my name is Pearl Duray-Lowen, which is kind of a last name, sorry. DURYEA:LOEWEN. Sorry. So I actually have a card here, and I'm going to talk to you guys about after school programs and all the opportunities that kids at ASE get. So I'm in 7th grade, and so some of these are for high school, and I'll tell you when they are. So, Science Olympiad. Last year I was in Science Olympiad, but I had to switch out because I needed to be in normal math, not in honors math. But I did like it. We did notes and then we would compete at the end of the year to kind of just show off our knowledge. There was a bunch of different topics. Turkish cooking. I also did that last year. My Turkish teacher, because I take Turkish for a language, she would teach us how to cook Turkish food, and we would get to eat it in the class with her. And I think that that was a super cool experience because I got to see my peers outside of school, not just learning, but eating food and enjoying it with them. Math counts. I'm not in math counts, but I have some friends who are, and they say that they just study, study, study math, and then they show it off at the end of the year as well. Art and yoga. My mom and her colleague actually did this. My mom is a teacher at Albuquerque School of Excellence. She's a 5th grade ELA and social studies teacher. And they do a bunch of art and yoga. They are doing it this year too, but not a lot of kids are interested in yoga anymore. So mostly it's just art. There's table tennis and chess club, neither of which I'm in, so I don't know about that. Battle of the Books, which is also my mom's club. You just read a ton of books and then you go to a competition. I did it in 5th grade and I really enjoyed it. I actually met some of my friends there. I met Miss Bayer there before I even knew her. Robotics, Dungeons and Dragons code. I'm not in any of those. Cryptozoology Club, Girls Who Code, Speech and Debate, Science Fair, which I did last year and I went to state. I really enjoyed that. Middle school girls basketball, middle school boys basketball. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but I know that JV basketball. Volleyball, I did volleyball last year, and I would like to say that I enjoyed it for the most part. Soccer, I really enjoyed that. They were super supportive, and I learned a lot from them. STEAM fair, I didn't go to that, but I'm guessing it's kind of like science fair. Digital art club, which is with my art teacher. And for high school, there's mock trial, JV, and varsity basketball, and esports. So, as you can tell, there's a lot of things that we can do at our school, and I didn't even know that we could do all this until I wrote it all down. So, thank you, and I hope you learned something.
Thank you. Next, we have Marwa Zamir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marwa Zamir, and I'm currently in 12th grade. My last name is Zameer. And I wanted to say I'm so beyond grateful to be at Albuquerque School of Excellence. Being in this school, I came here from a war-torn country. I came here not knowing anything because I was a first-generation student. Coming here, I learned so much at ASC because, first of all, the diversity, I felt like I belonged. There was a sense of comfort that I got that I didn't get anywhere else in Albuquerque. Everyone supported each other. We had opportunities for one another. The school, because it had such a diverse faculty, I was able to get the support that I needed to be successful. Currently, I've participated in many activities. Some of these activities include journalism. I've been in journalism since 8th grade, and what I've done through journalism has opened my eyes to a whole bunch of stuff. It has opened my eyes to politics. It has opened my eyes to the issues that, for example, women are facing in different countries. And through these, I learned skills. During that time, I had the opportunity to be the editor-in-chief of my journalism class. There, I learned leadership skills. I learned how to help my peers. I learned how to tell them or comfort them when they needed support. And this year I have the opportunity, or have had the opportunity, to be the head of the house. We have house systems just like Hogwarts, but we have Altruismo, Isabindi, River, and Amistad. And in these houses, what we do is we practice community building. So what we do is we get students from different classes and we put them in a house. And in the house, what they do is they practice activities, and they have community building. And like Miss Osborne said, we have like SEL courses. And what they do there is they work together and they get to know each other. And students who are in lower grade levels, they get to learn from students, for example, seniors. And I have had so many opportunities at ASC. I've had the opportunity to interview people from the education department. And I think it's been so great and it's so wonderful to have all of these opportunities, because frankly, I never imagined I would have any opportunity to do any of this being in a country where I wouldn't have been allowed to even go to school. So I'm so beyond grateful to be at ASC and get the support that I need. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Amana Vahab. Hope I pronounced that correct.
Hello everyone, my name's Amana Vahab, and this is Nathaniel Gonzalez. Amana Vahab, is Vahab. Gonzalez is Gonzales. We've both been here for 2 years, and today we're in 5th grade, and today we'll talk about our school, specifically focusing on our core values and impact on our school community. We have a core value chant that goes: respect, integrity, service, empathy, rise to excellence. Each morning, during announcements, the entire school recites this chant as a reminder of our values. We also give challenges to encourage everyone to spread joy in our community to make learning fun. Respect stands for being kind and showing respect by respecting others when anybody is talking. Integrity stands for being honest and telling the truth to our teachers, peers, and family, and even ourselves. Service stands for helping them with their homework or anything they need. Lastly, empathy. Empathy stands for going in others' shoes, which means to feel what they are feeling and help them feel better. And if we can't help them, then we could help them look at the positive side. And this is how our school becomes a good community for our learning and socializing. Thank you, guys.
Just the best part of my work. Finally, we have Todd Monson.
These kids. So Todd Munson, MONSON, really hard act to follow, but I'm a parent of 2 children at ASC. I've really enjoyed the emphasis on education without it being a pressure cooker. It's a really diverse, great environment for them to learn in, and they enjoy going there every day and coming home and telling us all about it. I'm also part of the advisory and equity council, really enjoying getting to hear about things going on at the school and actually get to be involved in making suggestions and hopefully seeing some of those things come to fruition. That's all I have to say today. Thanks.
Commissioner Beck.
Oh, yeah. I'm blessed to be involved with the school. It's been incredible. I'm not going to say anything other than it's busting at the seams, and you can see why. They have a hard time with the traffic on Lomas. That's somewhat of a challenge. But I've participated in a lot of different things there, and they are an incredible school, and we got to expand them.
And actually, we're going to vote on the amendment right after this, so that we're not.
I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah.
I was going to let you say
Makes
that.
sense. In my mind, I was doing that, but on paper, we weren't. So, it's like, I thought we were doing that, and we're not. So So, there's little to say. I want to thank you for even the sea of green that's on the report. We rarely get that. The only thing I'm going to say is there just seems to be the one consistent, and Sean, forgive me, I find it humorous that you've got this consistent financial red that's going through there. So that's, it's certainly, it's just something that does get concerning when it's that consistent, but otherwise, I mean, so I guess I'm just, and I'm not disagreeing with any expansion, but I do see, and I understand the challenges, your high school small, because you have those challenges with the bigger high schools. So I'm just curious as to conversations about, do you focus more on elementary and middle? Because the high school kids are just going to get attracted to the bigger high schools, even though you offer so much. So it's just a question, not a concern in any way.
I can answer that. So basically our model is, and we do have a lot of families that really prefers, because we do have a lot of high schoolers, but they have siblings in elementary. So there are quite a few that really wants this whole model of K-12 education, because it's a one-stop location. And we do acknowledge and understand here in New Mexico and Albuquerque, recruiting or attracting high schoolers is not an easy task. However, by I think our goal is to pretty much serve our own students in that regards, because they would like to have the same small school settings opportunity. Obviously not all of them, but quite a few of them. So, but traditionally, like our middle school, usually like we might be losing maybe up to half of them, like from 8th grade to 9th grade. And so, but however, when you expand your middle school, that means that you will be able to have actually a full size of high school. And that's exactly what we are planning on doing, that by having this expansion, we will be able to have enough students to form a high school and financially be able to afford that high school, to be able to offer whatever the regular public schools can provide. So that it's all about the number of students. And I think having that two sides will really going to help us out build that.
Okay, thanks. Commissioner Ingham?
I have one question. How can we promote this across the state? I mean, honestly, expanding is great, but your model, you have some secret sauce. And I would hope that you wouldn't keep it a secret. I think that your family engagement and your teachers being involved with the kids. My daughter's a teacher. She said that as long as the class size is small enough that she can have a personal interface with each kid, she can do a wonderful job. As soon as the class size gets too big, the demanding kids get the attention and the ones don't. I just am thrilled for your school. I just wish that we could get that, whatever your secret sauce is, out and in the rest of some of our educational facilities. It would be, I think you need to be the new secretary personally, but that's just my opinion.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner Ingham. I mean, I've been in a lot of meetings throughout this past 5 years, and so one thing that I've been trying to encourage my colleagues and other charter school leaders is to not to be afraid on getting an increase in their enrollment, because increase in enrollment will definitely will help them out, provide be able to get the necessary assistance and support, and so that I will say it really worked for us. Like when I came over here 2019, we asked for your permission to build an elementary school next to our school. And so like adding those additional 400 students and really it worked out because by having more enrollments, it was be able to be more funding and be able to have more central support and be able to take the more workload from our administration and provide that customer service. I forgot to mention it, but we do have 90% of teacher retention as of last school year, and that's huge. And so like right now we have more satisfied staff because whenever they need something, there's an employee that will be able to address their needs. So I am more than willing to share our experience with fellow charter schoolers, and definitely it's not kept in secret, and we are more than willing to share with anyone who really would like to hear. So, thank you.
Commissioner, if I could jump in real quick. Mr. Iyek won't say it, but a lot of our secret sauce has to do with the community and our administration. We've been extremely fortunate with our administrators to grow our own administration, have a very virtuous teaching model, and the success of the school is directly attributable to that fact. As a governing council, we make small adjustments and modifications, but the school itself is just full steam ahead. And that's why we feel that we're confident in our ability to grow and maintain the same success that we've been fortunate and privileged to have.
So I echo what Commissioner Ingham said. It's just, I don't care whether a school is a charter school or a district school. I just want them to be a good school. And I was on the board here in Santa Fe for 9 years and now doing this and for the next 4 also. And I just don't get it why district schools can't innovate. It just makes me crazy why they can't learn from all the successes of charters and implement it at different sites and make different sites magnets. They're so like provincial in their thinking, and makes me crazy because I would love to have your model up here. And I know that particularly the superintendent up here, he's never fond of my saying that because they just feel charters steal from districts, and that's not the case. I mean, we've opened one charter with 150 kids in the last 10 years up here. So we're not the reason Santa Fe lost 3,500 kids. It's all sorts of reasons and all around the state. But I would just love kids to have the opportunity that the people who spoke up here so articulately and passionately, I want other kids all over the state to have that. And so a couple of things. The first is, and I'm going to call you out, Ms. Zamir, and which means you might even have to come to a microphone if you don't mind. And I didn't get your first name correct. I think I wrote down Maria, but is that right?
It's Marwa?
Marwa, okay.
Yes, sir.
First thing I'm curious about it, just curious, is where are you from?
I'm from Afghanistan, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When somebody calls me sir, I know it's because I'm on a commission. Like even if I'm in a restaurant or something, when they use my last name, it's like, oh, this is how you know me, as opposed to Steve. But thank you. So just struck by how articulate you are, and when you said journalism, I mean, I just sat up in my seat because, as everyone here knows, journalism is it's a dying art, but it's absolutely essential for any democracy to have a thriving media and journalism in particular. So why journalism? Why journalism? And what do you see yourself doing with that as you move on to college and beyond?
So what I did when I came here first, I didn't know how to speak. And in 8th grade, ASE offered me an opportunity to join journalism just as an extracurricular. And I joined journalism just for fun. And I started writing articles, but then later on, I realized I started seeing the things that were going on in the news. And I realized that I actually had a voice, like I could actually speak and say something about it. For example, something that was going on was women's education. their education was being limited in some countries and restricted in others. And what I did was, through my article writing, I was able to tell my community, at least, I was able to start that and tell them that, hey, look, this is happening in this country and you can do things about it. What you can do is be a model for them. For example, me, I hope to be a doctor. And what I want to do is be a cardiothoracic surgeon and be a model to the women in Afghanistan and tell them that I had a dream. I followed my dream. I got to where I was. It doesn't matter who tried to stop me from it. I got it through whether it was through journalism, through doing dual credit and getting my degree, my associate's degree. If I was able to do all of this in high school, I want to serve as like an inspiration that they can do whatever they want in Afghanistan. They can fight for their rights and they can get it when they want.
You are an inspiration, and I would say not just for young women in Afghanistan, but just young women all over. You need to realize their power in their voice, and just super impressed. And thank you for just coming up and speaking with us. We love it when students come and talk with us. That means more to us. It's just exactly what Missy said. This is the best part, to know what's going on, and then also what you're speaking about and what the young lady in the 7th grade, I didn't write down your name, I'm so sorry, spoke about into all these opportunities at your school. So where kids get to just discover who they are and who they want to be in the world. It's just what the gift you're giving your children in the community. I'm so grateful, and I'm sure others feel likewise. And listen, thank you so much for coming up. I do have a couple questions for the others. Thank you. And just best of luck in everything. Continue to use your voice.
Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. So I have home visits. This previous school spoke about home visits and how incredibly, what a useful tool that is. And you had mentioned that you get to be in someone's home, sit on their couch or at their table, and really get a sense of what's what, where their challenges are, and then how you can best support the parent and the kids. So I'm so happy to hear you're doing that. And I know that maybe it was the last school where somebody had said, going to somebody's home, I don't want to do that. That's crazy. And then when they started to do it, they were so just filled with connection, having done that. And so I'm very happy to hear you're doing that. Home initiative, very impressed with your kind of recognizing that kind of coming together and supporting one another. That piece, boy, the size of your school, I mean, Tim has told me about it. I had no idea. I don't get down La Bajada much unless the Demons are playing some other high school in Albuquerque or the southern part of the state. And so just learning a lot more, about your school. So one thing I'll say it's a concern. So I just, for the heck of it, because we have this challenge with I wouldn't say by any means are you close to this challenge that we had with another school that's actually leaving the state, and it's the lottery process. And so just for the heck of it, while some of this was going on, I went online to try to do the lottery. And there were so many steps involved. And we even considered as a community kind of, do we want to have something that's more simplified, that doesn't, what's the word you use? Chilling effect. Not that this has that by any means, but sometimes when there are more steps that a parent has to take to be a part of the lottery, someone who's not maybe as comfortable with working online or whatever it might be, can be, they convince themselves, I can't do this. And so then a child that may be a Zamir out there here in Albuquerque that wants this opportunity, but might be difficult for the family to navigate. So I mean, I'm at the point on this where it's asking me about my siblings and everything else. In general, with a lottery, it doesn't even go that far. It's just name, age, grade, that's it. So that to me it's not even a red flag. It's not even orange. It's just something that I wanted to bring up. The more simple the lottery process is, you're just going to keep expanding this inclusivity and diversity that you have, which helps you guys to just thrive. Anyway.
Just to mention quickly, and we appreciate Charter School Division. Actually, they do come and visit us every single year, and we used to have like addresses in our registration. There are two steps, and as you know, application and registration. So application is intent to be, like you mentioned, Commissioner Carrillo, is very simple, like name and that's it. And so, and we appreciate that they provide those feedbacks. We made necessary updates. We do have at this point is a very simple information just so that we can do the lottery. But after that, registration comes in where we need request more information.
Thank you. Commissioner Carrillo, respectfully, in law, schools are allowed to give lottery preference to the siblings of students that
I
are
know that,
already enrolled and to the children of staff that are already enrolled. So I'm not looking at what you're looking at. Perhaps you see something. I appreciate the comment about getting I don't know, feeling overwhelmed with an online lottery application form. I know a lot of schools find that very simple. I guess I would ask the school if they offer any sort of assistance to families when completing the lottery application to find out if they can help families that might feel overwhelmed with it.
Thank you.
The school does like 3 open houses and always we do have an enrollment coordinator actually dedicated for this, always available. As soon as the parents have any question, they want to come see the school, they need assistance with the application, there's a dedicated person for that.
I move that the Public Education Commission approve the renewal application for Albuquerque School of Excellence for a 5-year term without conditions.
Second.
So a motion by Commissioner Beck and a second by Commissioner Brower.
I did have a note. I'm for this school. I absolutely am, but I had a question for the board president really quick. Oh, that's right. You can't talk.
Yeah.
Then I would just have a comment, and that is, you talk about secret sauce. Your school may want to consider doing some sort of session on what makes your board so good and helping and being an example for other boards around the state that struggle. When schools do this well, it's clear they've got a great board. Just is what it is. Share that out. Okay.
Commissioner Burt,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor, Commissioner Armijo, Commissioner Klaustrosilage, Commissioner Ingham.
An emphatic yes.
Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Carrillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Brower.
Yes.
Secretary Beck, yes. There are 7 votes for and 0 votes against. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we going to do the other one? I move that the PEC accept the additional,
We're going to do it, but we have to hear it.
oh,
Yeah, you're good. You're good, but yes, we are doing it. No, we're not doing that. Yeah. So the school doesn't have to come back on Friday. We're going to, we've moved item number 6 from the Friday agenda, which is the amendment request, and that those materials have been moved to today. So is that, I don't know who's doing that.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, so commissioners, you have 4 items associated with this amendment request. You have 6A, which is the additional square footage, 6B, which is the enrollment cap, and 6C, which is the separate facilities. That's a new amendment, which Mustafa very quickly ensured that he was able to submit it. And then D is the analysis, which Ms. Rowe actually did write up. So the enrollment cap increase would increase student enrollment from 1,199 to 2,300. The additional square footage is to include the construction of an additional K through 12 school within the Albuquerque Public Schools boundaries. And the separate facility would allow the school to open up that K through 12 site at 5200 Sequoia Road Northwest. Albuquerque School of Excellence's analysis is just in one document. So that you can see that. The school, as you heard, has been a spotlight school. Every year, the VISTAS rating has been available. It has been recognized as a national blue ribbon school in 2022, nationally distinguished school in 2023. We have a successful academic program, numerous applicants to the school's lottery, and a number of students on the wait list. According to the school, and we don't audit it, but the current wait list has about 400 students. The amendment application states that last year ASE received 1,200 applications for only 280 available seats, showing that there is a clear demand for the programs. So they've had to turn away many students, which could easily fill another school campus. Why many schools are experiencing declining enrollment, the demand for Albuquerque School of Excellence has grown annually, and they have successfully addressed the challenges of COVID in terms of learning loss, embraced MLSS, post-COVID social emotional learning needs, as you heard today, and ensured that there is consistent high-quality instruction in math, reading, and science as the proficiency rates indicate. And they have outperformed the district, the state, and have increased every year that data has been available. The school has outlined a robust, detailed plan for MLSS intervention so that every student can have equitable access to the curriculum and receive support and optimize their potential. So financially, you know the condition of the school. It's been pretty good, except indicator 2B. We know that's going to change because somebody's really going to be on it. And there was never more than one of the significant deficiencies or material findings for any fiscal year, with just 2 total findings in 1 year. The head administrator and the governing council finance committee chair have put into place processes to avoid the findings moving forward. For example, the school implemented a policy that no purchases would be made after June 15th. Got that, teachers? I know that's a really hard thing to put into place, but I think that sounds like it would lead to success for the school to ensure that purchases are all complete by the end of the fiscal year and avoid audit findings like that. So the school has a grants coordinator now who oversees all state and federal grants and monitors expenditures. The school, as you heard, has applied for the CSP replication grant, the Charter Schools Growth Fund, Scale Grant to fund the new campus. The supplement to supplement the amendment request, Albuquerque School of Excellence submitted a 5-year financial projection, which includes estimates of potential enrollment, revenue, and expenditures. Their concept and marketing plans have also been developed, projecting timelines for key deliverables as they plan the second campus. So they've put a great deal of thought and consideration into the development of the new school. They have a full governing body. All the training hours have been completed for the past 3 years. They have, again, an active finance and audit committee. And so they've weighed in to this important consideration. So the school identified a specific location on Sequoia Road, and research indicates that this location is desirable for several reasons, which are indicated in the analysis. And so in the end, you know, this is a time where student enrollment trends are declining across the state, certainly in Santa Fe, but across the state, and schools struggle to retain students and qualified and high quality staff. Seems like less than an ideal time for proposals such as this. However, CSD has And CSD has also been recently notified that NMPED leadership may include an additional step that would require the secretary to approve a new facility. However, given the exceptional track record of the school and the demand for it among families, CSD recommends that the PEC approve the amendments for Albuquerque School of Excellence request for a separate facility, increase the cap, although I don't know that between the two buildings, 2,300 is actually needed, and to approve the additional square footage. Thank you.
I just want to clarify that there's not an additional step that's going to take place for the cabinet secretary to approve actions that we take. But there, and we had a discussion with the deputy secretary about this. It's just merely we need to clarify and make sure just simply our notification of changes that we make in terms of there's a school that's going to have an enrollment increase, whatever, that's, that line of communication is open. But statute does not call for the cabinet secretary to be able to approve or disapprove actions such as that by us. Commissioner Ingham?
Is the property at Sequoia still available?
It's right now under contract. There's an purchase sale agreement already. So our school is working with Build in Hope. It's a national nonprofit organization that builds schools for charter school. So they are the one that secure the building, and we are planning on having a lease purchase agreement with them.
Oh.
So
I was told a different story, so I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, the building is right now under construction. So just to brief, yeah, it's in the alert right now. You can provide feedback to.
So Building Hope is our partner in this, and the facility is under contract with them during the due diligence period. And so that is where we are as we get final numbers for costs so that we can start building everything out. But they have right now the rights to that facility while that due diligence period is underway.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. It's some surprise.
And just to provide clarification about the enrollment, so the enrollment projection we have is 2,280 by the next 5 years. And so that's why we did include the 2,300 enrollment increase. We will be starting with K-8, 2 sections from each grade level. Like I mentioned, we already have a lot of students on our waiting list. And so we are confident to be able to meet those numbers in the next 5 years.
And Director Chavez, to your point, this expansion is actually something that we feel that we're very confident in, because the school originally, when we talked about the size, was in half of a grocery store. And so this new facility is all we need is tenant improvements and modifications to fully utilize this vast campus. And so we do feel that's why 2,300 is appropriate, both on the enrollment projections and the space that the West Side campus would offer.
So I did read this a lot, but I was telling Commissioner Brower, I was like, I don't understand this at all. Why would they put that only 107 kids are like near near this other school? And like, why would they make 90% of their kids move across that, like have to commute, but it's a second location. So that was helpful for my brain to like, and I read it like so many times and I wasn't clicking. So I'm actually very supportive of this. Great. I know Albuquerque School of Excellence has an incredible reputation in the community, as you have data behind that with how many applications you get to your lottery. I don't know if my question's for you all, unless you've already done the research on it. I don't know who would answer this either, but my question is, how will, I'm thinking of MAS, right, with having the 2 campuses, same governing board, 2 campuses. Those schools are rated separately. And I think they're funded separately as well, or the funding all comes in one pot?
Yes.
It's just the school ratings are separate. It's the
Right.
only thing in
And
which
that's
they're
be-
separated.
That's because of the way it was handled when that school first proposed
So
to
what
have
would
the
this-
second speci-
would this
Our hope is
be-
that there's just one.
Okay.
And so there is some work that we have, yeah, I think everybody on the PED would want just one.
I feel like it might be good to have two because they're so far apart and you're going to be serving very different populations. So it might be nice to at least, even if it's one overall, if there's any way, like if we can get ahead of this to where we can at least break down data to where we can see one campus versus the other, would be helpful too. Because I would really want to know that the second campus is receiving the same level of excellence that your original campus was. And if we see numbers fluctuating, which campus is that happening on? I think would be helpful for us, just as far as like authorizing goes. Like I said, I don't think that's on you all, unless, I don't know if you've thought about that, because
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way actually. I mean, I was under the impression that academic wise it will be separate, but financially it will be together. That
because it's the one governing board.
and still, yeah, one
Mhm.
governing council.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just something to throw out there, like if we can get ahead of it, instead of waiting until it's like time to figure it out too late. But that is one,
I mean, it will be really helpful for us to be able to see our data in a building. I truly believe in competition as well, like driving our administration and motivating them, be able to see like this is what's happening in here. And so
yeah, have your second campus start outperforming the first one.
sure, yeah. So that, so those are all great things in education
yeah.
that motivates. And I personally, I did work in a school system, a charter school system that had 62 campuses, and that competition drove us to come up with initiatives, come up with different ways to be able to assist students. So yeah, I think it will be beneficial if academic reporting is different.
Do you have any, and maybe you asked this while I had stepped down, I apologize, but do you have any plans to add transportation to your programming?
We currently have transportation. This is our
okay.
very first year. We are offering bus transportation. Yes, definitely. We will be in favor of providing transportation moving forward.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know even if you're on the west side, it's still so hectic to travel around the west side for families.
Sure.
In the mornings to go back and forth. So, okay, thank you. Awesome. I'm always in favor. This is a really high performing school. I'm always going to be in favor of expanding access to high performing schools to other kids. So, thank you.
I move that the PEC accept the additional square footage amendment, enrollment cap increase, and separate facilities amendments for Albuquerque School of Excellence in the meeting materials for November 12, 2024 in the Albuquerque School of Excellence folder, and that the changes be reflected as an amendment to the charter contract. Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Beck and a second by Commissioner Carrillo. Commissioner Beck?
Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Ingham,
Absolutely, yes.
Commissioner Kotsasovich, Commissioner Brower,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Armijo, Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
Oh, I get to put another X in there. Commissioner Vort.
Yes.
And Secretary Beck, yes, there are 8 votes for and 0 votes against. The motion passes.
Till tomorrow.